Why is there so many people learning Japanese for like 10 years and they still can't even understand a single word of what they're trying to listen to? It's like people just assume Japanese is this hard of a language that it's impossible to ever actually get good at it. But it's just not the case. It doesn't have to be this way. The reason that Japanese doesn't make sense to you isn't because you're an idiot. Or it's not because you're not talented or someone's more talented than you. I'm sick of hearing people try and tell others that, oh, you're not talented. This won't work for the average person. Like, only special people do this. Nah, anyone can learn Japanese in a short amount of time. And there's a specific reason why it's not making sense to you. It's not anything to do with your ability. So just get that idea and throw it away. I don't want to hear that shit. Watch in the comments. There's going to be people saying, oh, nah, but 5 words a day, you got to do 5 words a day, listen 10 minutes a day, my life's too busy. Fuck off, mate. Honestly, this ain't the place for you, all right? So this is the reason that it actually won't make sense to you. All you're doing every day is you're doing your Anki or you're learning words through some other way. Maybe you're writing them down in a book over and over again. I don't know what you guys are doing, but if you're learning Japanese through Anki, you're learning new words every day, and maybe you watch some Japanese YouTube or anime or whatever you're just watching, and you've got the subtitles on, because without the subtitles you can't understand it, and you're just kind of watching it all the time, and you're like, fuck, no matter what I do, it just doesn't make any sense. It's legit because you're learning Japanese through looking at it, like looking at the words on the page and somehow thinking that one day then when you listen to it, you're going to be able to understand it magically. I say this like every video, but there's multiple things in Japanese. You got your base, your mental model, and your output. Your output's how well you speak. Mental model is like your understanding of how Japanese should sound, and also your ability to like listen to Japanese, like how well you can, pass the words in a sentence. And then your base is how many words you know, how much grammar you know, like the thing that you build upon. Each one of those is not mutually exclusive. They all rely on each other. So the way you determine where you're lacking is, I'll tell you what you do. Go onto a YouTube video or whatever you're usually watching, whether it's anime or TV, I don't know, whatever you're doing, go on there, chuck it on, no subtitles or anything, or close your eyes or whatever there is if the subtitle's stuck on it. Listen to it, like just not the whole thing, listen to like one sentence or a couple sentences, see how much you understand, then chuck on the subtitles and read the subtitles. If you understand every fucking word in the subtitles and your ears didn't work, we've just determined what it is. You know enough words. There's no point, like, chuck the Anki in the bin, chuck the learning the words in the bin, fuck that off for a bit. That's not the issue here, bro. Like, the issue is your ear cannot pick this up. So how are we going to fix this? Learning more words. What the fuck's that going to do? So here's what we're going to do. To ensure you have the full base, all you need, like you know that now you're just doing your ears, get like a full episode of anime or TV, or get a full YouTube video, take the subtitles from that, learn, like go through the subtitles, read every line. If there's any words you don't know in that thing, take every single one of them and go and learn them, yeah? Learn them with Anki, whatever you do. I don't really give a fuck. That's not the point of this video. Go learn the words and come back. All right, you got the words now, yeah? So now what do? All you're going to do, like, there's 2 types of listening. Let's just establish this for anyone who's new to this channel. You got passive listening, you got active listening. Passive listening is when you're going throughout your day, you're washing the dishes, you're on public transport, whatever you're doing, and you're listening while you do it. There you go. That's what passive listening is. Active listening, it doesn't mean you're not, one thing, it doesn't mean you're not concentrating on it. You're doing other things, but sort of concentrating at like halfway. Like maybe you tune in for a couple minutes here and there. You're not just letting it play in the background and fucking ignoring it. Like, what's the point of that? Active listening is when you sit down, phone in hand like this, or TV or whatever it is, and you're watching it, fully immersed in it, and you're like really trying hard to understand every little bit of it. Those are the 2 things, right? Now, if you do what I'm saying here for active listening, you might fucking commit. I mean, honestly, I would probably kill myself at this point. It's pretty bad. What you're going to do is you're going to get that video that you've just learned all the words for. You're going to listen to it every single day over and over and over and over and over again, yeah? So if you're, washing the dishes, you're walking to work, I don't know what you're doing, fucking whatever, you got it in the background, you're listening to that shit over and over and over. Every time you listen to it, your ear's going to pick out a little bit more. Now we're practicing properly how to pick up things with your ear. And then once you've got that fully, you've narrowed the scope from the whole of Japanese to this little thing, the more you listen to it now, it's going to be fucking easy to understand it after a bit. And then you can just move on to the next video. And what I'd say then is, for your active listening, whatever you've done, if you've taken one episode from an anime, TV show, or YouTuber, watch other videos by that YouTuber, for say, and then you'll know that you probably know most of the words he's going to say anyway. And now you just practice listening to that as well without any subtitles on. If you've got subtitles on your screen, I don't know, fucking put a bit of duct tape or something, turn them off. But that's what you got to do. That's all there is to it, to practice listening to your ear. But you need to understand, you don't have a vocabulary problem. You don't have I don't know all the, I need to learn more words. I got to do more fucking Anki, read another textbook. That's not the problem here. Your only problem is your ears. So sick, you're like, okay, mad. Now, That's how I can go and understand fucking whatever I want to listen to, right? That's one thing. That's content, yeah? But how do we go and understand anything anyone ever says to us in Japanese? Because a lot of you, maybe you have a good understanding of anime or something like that, and you go talk to, like, you know, a real word person, they say a couple of things to you, and you're like, you can't either speak back or you can't understand what the fuck they're saying. There is a real reason for that. Again, it's not because you can't do it or you suck at Japanese or some fucking bullshit like that. That's not what this is. It means maybe in this first step even, you're going to pick some like weird ass niche, like you're watching, I don't know, little anime girls or something, you know, like what's that shit called K-On? You go on and watch K-On and now mad, you can understand the whole of K-On, sick. Then you go and you talk to some bloke and you sound like a little anime schoolgirl. Mad, that's going to be sick. I'm sure he'll want to be your friend, won't he? But like, this is the shit that happens, and they talk to people and they're like, why does no one want to talk to me? Or why can I not communicate with people and not understand what they're saying? It's like, mate, you've just gone and learned some shit that is barely even considerable as Japanese, right? This is the issue here. Now, this is why Japanese doesn't make sense to you in another way. You got to go and actually pick a niche now, like YouTube, like podcasts, maybe pick a specific podcast or a specific YouTuber and max out with them. Go and like spam listen to them as much as you physically can, and do all what I just said with the passive listening loop and the active listening in that niche. Learn all the words, learn everything there. And then you're going to start understanding things about Japanese that don't even exist in anime or any TV shows or anything like that. You got Aizuchi, like, not even that, like, you can have a full conversation, in Japanese, and it's not even like, what's it called, like, any words. Like, someone could be saying shit to you, be like, oh, そうなんすか? マジですか? そんなあったんすね? Shit like that. You can just be sitting there like, that's how you're responding to people. Or even like, いや、まあ、そんなんあったんすけど、僕最近ね、もう、こういうことしか、やってないんですよ。Like, see how I put the little fucking, I'm saying random fucking sentences. Like, who gives a fuck what it means? But like, if you know any Japanese, you'll know what I mean. But like, the little in-between things there, those little, like, connectors or ums and ahs, that's what's actually going to make you sound Japanese. And those are the little things you need to understand the nuances of Japanese as well. And the only way you're going to even come in contact with them is not watching a drama with, you know, I've used this example before, but in a drama, yeah, nobody's picking up the phone and going, oh, g'day, how you fucking going, yeah? Like, they don't do that. They go like, you know, they just get straight into it. They get into the conversation straight away, right? So that's not how people talk in real life. And if you're used to that, when you go and talk to people, for one, you're going to sound like a fucking weirdo. And as well, the people who are talking to you, you're just not really going to have a good grasp on what they're saying. You're not going to be used to it. It's going to feel foreign, which is the opposite. You don't want that to feel foreign. That should feel the most normal out of anything. Anime should be the thing that feels foreign, or dramas or whatever. You get my point, yeah? So go pick a niche, which is YouTubers, podcasts, whatever, that natural Japanese. Listen to that shit as much as possible. Get used to those in-between things. So when you talk to people and people are all over the place fucking up their sentences, it's fine. One thing I did, I was talking to people on Hello Talk all the time on phone calls. Most people, they're like barely, like you can barely hear them. The connection shit. They got a shit mic, they're just talking in their fucking phone maybe, or maybe they got some shit headphones they've had for the last 10 years. Barely understand them, and you're like picking noises out and this and that, but just because you get used to these patterns of conversation, it's easy to understand what they're saying because you just get used to it, right? So you need to be immersing yourself in Japanese YouTubers, that sort of content, and that's what's going to give you like a good understanding of proper Japanese. So when you talk to people, it's going to make perfect sense. You're going to go to a group of Japanese people. This is another instance, right? You go talk in a group of like 10 people maybe, you know, you're at a party or something, I don't know what the fuck you're doing, but like you go out and do that, and then when you're talking to them, it's going to be like intuitive for you. You know how to jump in the conversation, you can understand everything that's going on, people are talking over the top of each other and shit, and it makes full sense to you. That's the only way to achieve this. This is why the Japanese isn't making sense to you. Maybe you're either doing your fucking Anki all day, learning more words, so you're attacking the base when you have a listening problem, or you're just listening to the wrong shit altogether for what you're trying to achieve. Look, if your whole goal is to just learn like anime or whatever, probably isn't the channel for you as a start. Like, if you actually want to learn to speak Japanese, interact with Japanese people, and like enjoy using the language and living within the language, for instance, I don't live in Japan, but like around Japanese people all the time. So like, if you want to get used to that, this is the way to do it. All right. There's no sidestepping this shit. All right. There's no anime, this and that, like listen off that. You got to go straight off the real shit, which is YouTube, podcast, talking to people like that. There's another common problem though that tends to happen, right? Maybe you understand like all the words in a sentence and you listen to it and you can pick them out, but to a degree maybe, but like the grammar itself, like all the words are in the sentence, but you don't know what the fuck it means. Like that's a pretty common thing. Like that happens, yeah? Like, that's probably the most common occurrence. I remember when I first was learning Japanese, and I would, like, learn all the words, like I'm doing, like, saying to do right here, go and, like, pick a niche, pick that one video, learn all the words from it, and then listen to it all the time. And I'd learn all the words to a sentence, and I go, hold on, I still don't have a fucking idea what the fuck that means. Like, back then, that was a real issue. The only way you could do it was sort of tolerate that, and just listen, immerse, and, like, have enough comprehensible sentences that eventually those things make sense to you. But the beauty of this current modern era is if there's a sentence like that, you know all the words and you're just missing a couple things. Do you know what you have to do? It's quite simple, actually. You just chuck it into Claude Code. You say, look, I know all the words to this sentence. Can you explain to me what it means? And then it'll translate it into English or whatever your native language is. And you go, sick. I still don't understand why the fuck it means that. Why does it mean that? Like, what is this grammar here? How do these mean together? You can ask. It's like having a native speaker in both languages, like someone who's grown up speaking Japanese and English, and they can tell you the equivalent expressions, equivalent meanings, and explain in very fine detail how this grammar, all this stuff works, and how it translates into English, and so that you have a deep, full understanding of every sentence's grammar. So even if you have to go through every fucking sentence at the start to do this, eventually you go, oh, okay, now I actually understand how this means that. Like, I know how this Japanese, all these words together with this grammar means this in English. I understand the linkage there and how that works. And every time you do this, you're going to deepen your understanding of grammar itself. This is genuinely the best shit you can do. But at the same time, something to be very wary of is don't overcomplicate this shit. Don't go in and ask a million questions about the same, like, you need to have full, perfect understanding of every little expression in Japanese and every detail of every word and nuance. Look, there's going to be shit you just don't get. Like, you have to tolerate some level of ambiguity within the language. You have to be able to listen to it and go, look, I can kind of get, like, I can mostly understand why this means this, or why this word is the equivalent to this word in English, or what it means. But the fact is, like, this is just how it is. Japanese and English are so different. You've got to just accept the fact that there's going to be a lot of ambiguity there when you go to learn it. There's going to be a lot of words that feel like they should mean the same shit, and you don't understand why this grammar means this and this grammar means this, or isn't that the same thing? Like, you can get, if you go too deep down the rabbit hole on everything, there's no end to it. Like, you're just going to keep going and going. You just got to get it to a degree where you can understand it enough and just tolerate that ambiguity. Tolerating ambiguity is a massive thing in Japanese. You got to be able to, or any language really, but listen to it over and over and over, and then listen to more different sentences you understand in different videos, different all this and that, and then eventually it's going to make deeper and deeper and deeper sense the more you do it. Like, not just in like 2 months, I mean years and years and years. Like, your understanding of nuances of words, your, politeness, the way you talk to this person versus X person versus Y person, like, depending on where they are in relation to you with, like, maybe they're older or younger or whatever. These nuances only come from accepting the fact that you won't know them for a long time, and just tolerating that sense of ambiguity when you're listening to Japanese or learning Japanese words, for instance. You have to tolerate that, and the longer you can tolerate it, the more you're going to get that sense over time. You could go down the rabbit hole and ask all these questions to AI or to Japanese people, but it's just going to slow you down, and I don't think it's an efficient way of bridging that gap. I think there's the best way, because at the end of the day, even if you do that, you're still going to go through the same process of listening and getting that nuance from feeling, if anything, and that mental model, building that mental model of Japanese of how it should sound with all that nuance and everything. And look, this isn't directly related to the concept of this video, but there's another thing I feel like should be addressed here. You also got to tolerate when you're listening, even if you have full understanding of everything and you're listening all the time and then you go to speak and you sound like a fuckwit. Look, everyone goes through that shit. I went through it. Anyone you see online who has like mad Japanese, they have all gone through it. No one just like wakes up one day and like, oh wow, you know what? I can speak Japanese today. I've completed my listening. I can speak now. It doesn't happen. You go through this process again of that ambiguity, sounding a bit fucking shit. Not really, like, you probably will be speaking and like the shit people say to you, or like all of Japanese still doesn't make sense. Like, you're never gonna have to understand all of Japanese first before you speak. It needs to be a concurrent thing, a thing you're doing while you're listening, while you're immersing, while you're doing all this other stuff, building your base, etc. You got to be speaking alongside that, and that's going to, if anything, help it. Because when you go and speak to Japanese people, then you'll start, because they'll slow themselves down to you at the start when you don't have a good understanding. They'll slow it down, and you'll get, because you're really trying to understand them when they're speaking to you, you'll slow yourself down as well and like concentrate on every little detail. That in some ways is some of the best immersion there is, because it's comprehensible innately because you're having a fucking conversation. So they're slowing it down to become comprehensible. So if you do enough of that every single day, Eventually they build it up. If you're talking to the same person or multiple people, they build up because they understand that you can understand more of it. So they build up the degree to which they're speaking compared to normally how they would speak. And you get used to that sort of step ladder of understanding higher and higher levels of Japanese, and yourself, you're mimicking what they're saying. So you're growing, you're speaking alongside it. And not just that, because you're mimicking, you're even getting like, to mimic it, you have to fully have comprehended and understood it. So I kind of like, when I would talk to people, especially at the start, even to today, really, if I'm talking to like some smart cunt and I want to speak like him, you know, I will be listening to that and going, okay, that's how he's saying this. That's how he said this. I'll say it like that too. So now you start to pick up on those patterns of how people are speaking. And then when you go and listen to your immersion or whatever, it's easy to understand it and pick it out because you've like really concentrated and listened to it. That's another key crucial detail, right? Because they step you up through it and you get really used to it because you're so fucking locked in the conversation. And then, I mean, that is if you're a good listener. Maybe you're just sitting there like, waiting for you to speak all the time, and that's your main output. You're just like thinking about how you practice outputting. You know, it's a two-way street. When you practice outputting, you got to practice listening as well to the other person. So listen as much as possible. Do the shit with the base stuff I was saying, where you narrow the niche and learn that, and talk to people as much as possible. At the end of the day, do as much Japanese as possible and you'll get more results. Fuck, crazy, isn't it? Who would have guessed? The more you do, the more you get out. Like, look, just a little side note, yeah, at the end of this, just to put this into perspective for everyone, it's not like we're training to be a fucking world champion fighter or an athlete or something like that. We're learning a language. You've got to tolerate a level of discomfort in there and also know that you can do this indefinitely and not burn out. I don't give a fuck what anyone says. Look, maybe you'll get bored and maybe you'll get sick of it, but physically you can do it. You can do more as much as you like in the free time that you have, or create free time. With this passive immersion, you can do it all fucking day, really, unless you're with your kids or something. You got to be devoting time to them, or your partner or something. Or at work, you know, there's times like that, but there's plenty of free time. Like I see half these people talking about they don't have time to fucking do this shit, and they sit on the couch just doom scroll on TikTok. If you want to doom scroll on TikTok, at least put the fucking language into Japanese, and that counts as immersion too. Phew, who would have thought? You know, there's just no excuse, yeah. But just remember, this is going to be uncomfortable to do all this shit, and it's going to suck, but don't listen to anyone in the comments or anyone else around you tell you that you can't do this because it's physically impossible. It's not physically impossible. Just go fucking do it. Like, it's not like we're going to go and train MMA like I do as well and fight. There's a physical limit to what you can do without destroying your body. Here, it's more, can't cut into your sleep. That's a key detail. You have to sleep properly. You should also eat properly. Good nutrition, good sleep. As long as you tick those boxes, every other waking second, technically you can do something. Unless you've got, you know, physically something like a disability or something, or maybe you get migraines really easy, or there's things like that stop you. Look, those are real physical limitations that you have to work around. But it doesn't mean you can't do more. You just have to work around the things that you have and just make it fucking happen. I don't want to hear any excuses, all right? So this is how we do it here in this channel. If you've been around, you know what this shit is about. And if you're new, subscribe, join in. Like, if you want to learn Japanese properly, this is the place to do it. I'm not going to fucking lie to you. This is how you actually learn Japanese.